We're talking about big superstar players. Patrick Mahomes feels like people are throwing shade at him constantly. He's not been getting it done for fantasy. Does he get a nice get-right matchup against the New England Patriots, or do we see another low-scoring defensive affair?
I think when you bring the New England Patriots into anything, you kind of understand that that's possibly where it's going to go. I mean, at over under a 37.5, we've seen games from, this time last year, you were probably talking about 45 points for a game involving the Chiefs simply because they were so explosive and they were so good at racking up points. But Mahomes over the last six, he's been QB 32, QB 12, 14, 8, 17, and 20. That is a huge letdown for best ball purposes, for redraft purposes. I think you're not benching Patrick Mahomes. There is no world where you can bench Patrick Mahomes and go with one of the poor options who you feel is streamable this week. But where this game kind of gets really interesting for me is the run defense. The Chiefs have the worst run defense in the league over the last five, and New England have the best run defense in the league over the last five. So we know that Pacheco's going to be out, and we know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon kind of look fine, but not really great. So is that going to push the Chiefs to be more pass happy rather than trying to get the ground game going? Rashee Rice hit a season high 84% of his snaps last week. He hadn't been over 67% previously. We've been waiting for it. He's been a top 24 wide receiver the last 3 games. I think you start him. Kelce, he's only had 4 games over 17 PPR points this year. In previous last 3 years, he's had at least 9 in each of them. So we're not getting the ceiling outcomes from Kelce. But again, of course he's starting him, even though the Patriots allow the 5th fewest fantasy points to the position. So the Chiefs side, I don't think I really have any question marks. I don't think I'd start Edwards-Helaire. I probably would prefer not to start Jerick McKinnon either. Although the Patriots do struggle against pass-catching backs. They rank 28th in DVOA there. But then on the New England side, I mean, Bailey Zappi, he had 0 passing touchdowns before week 14 and then put up 3 on the Steelers. That feels more of a Steelers stat than anything that Zappi's suddenly doing. Zeke Elliott, you can start him. 100% of the touches last week, finishes the RB1 overall, which is kind of a bit crazy. And like I mentioned, the Chiefs' run defense has been the worst in the league over the last 5. Zeke's very cheap, 5,800. I would expect him to be pretty chalky, even though we're talking about a guy who had 3.1 yards per carry last week. I mean, it's pure volume matchup play. If you really wanted to, I could understand a dart throw on Juju in DFS. I wouldn't do it in any kind of managed roster situation. But he did lead the Patriots in team target share with 23%. So revenge game narrative, perhaps the Chiefs seemed content to let him walk. And maybe it was Juju that was keeping all the magic together all along.
I think it's interesting you're slating Bailey Zappi there. You know, this is a guy that's got the same amount of deep touchdowns as Patrick Mahomes so far this year. So, you know, Bailey Zappi, franchise quarterback.